Hey everybody, welcome back to Go Read Some Comics with me, Professor Jenna. Man, it feels nice to get some good news this week. James Gunn just shared the first behind-the-scenes look at production on the Supergirl movie, which is now underway in the UK, and I just have to break it down. It's not a full-fledged suit reveal, but the photo shows Millie Alcock, who is playing Kara Zor-El, sitting in a director's chair on set. The Supergirl crest is on the back of the chair, essentially in the same silhouette as David Cornsweet's Superman, although I assume we're going to get it in the yellow and red in the costume. A huge part of the Woman of Tomorrow story is the tonal juxtaposition between Kara's bright costume and the violence and the swearing and the heartache of her adventure, and I'm really excited to see how that's brought to life on screen. I do hope this is following the pattern that we had with Superman of getting a little behind the scenes tease and then a full look at the suit to get out ahead of set photos. I know some people have strong feelings about David's suit reveal, but I thought it was great, and I've loved seeing all of the small ways that this franchise can already dominate the conversation. I also just know that the first look tease of Jason Momoa's Lobo is going to be huge. Millie especially deserves to have an epic, internet-breaking first look photo at her full costume that will just shut up all of the haters before they can even start. The thing that excites me most about this photo is its set. It looks almost exactly like the bar from Woman of Tomorrow's second issue, right down to the neon colors. One of the things that has excited me the most about this project, especially as the cast and crew have grown around it, has been wondering how Bilquis Evely's visuals in the Woman of Tomorrow comic will be translated on screen. Her work on that book and the ambition and the clear definition of all of her alien worlds and design choices is legitimately something so special. We've had far too many instances of comic visuals being flattened or essentially disregarded when jumping to live action, but it really feels like this time will be different. I would not be surprised if, like Superman, this movie uses practical sets and practical filmmaking as much as humanly possible. Something that I think will differentiate it from a lot of the sci-fi and genre media that people have become used to, outside of the rare exceptions like Dune. I also am personally a sucker for the quirky practical sci-fi filmmaking of the 50s and 60s, so I have high hopes. I also want to touch on James's caption, which mentions that director Craig Gillespie, quote, brings an incredible sensibility to this story, and Millie is every inch the unique Supergirl envisioned by Tom King, Bilquis Evely, and Anna Nagira. I haven't talked too much about it on this channel, but I really do think that Gillespie is the perfect person to helm this story. In addition to having experience with big budgets on projects like Cruella, his filmography has a really strong and really compelling through line of taking women that society thinks it knows and has ownership of and completely subverting people's expectations. He's already done that well with Tanya Harding and Pamela Anderson and even Cruella de Vil, showing how they turn the ways that they are disregarded or underestimated by the world into sources of power. Also, I, Tanya remains one of my favorite biopics of all time. I haven't seen House of the Dragon, so I can't speak to Millie's performance yet, but the hype around her casting has me hyped. I have a feeling she's going to balance the rage and empathy and expressiveness that Kara has in that story, while again subverting the cultural aw shucks expectations that people have of Supergirl. I am curious, based on the official wording surrounding the movie and casting announcements and in this post, if the title will be shortened from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow to simply Supergirl. I know everyone is most likely going to just call it Supergirl anyway, but I did like having the Woman of Tomorrow subtitle to clearly convey the story that's being adapted, and also not to provoke any normie confusion about the 1984 movie or the TV show. Either way, I just know this movie is going to make a splash in a way that will feel really cathartic and really necessary. If this photo left you excited and wanting to dive into the Supergirl comics, you absolutely need to read the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic. You will not only be ahead of the curve before the movie arrives in 2026, but it'll add another layer of discovery and anticipation to all of these updates that we're going to get from the production. I also highly recommend Supergirl Being Super and the newly released DC's Finest Collecting Her Silver Age stories. There are so many Supergirl stories to dive into, but those are just some of the easiest right out of the gate. How do you feel about the first look at Supergirl? Are you excited for the movie? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already done so. As always, you can find me on social media at Hey It's Jenna Lynn. Thank you all so much for watching, take care of yourself, and as always, go read some comics.